Welcome to Monk's Temple. Find a place where you can be still. Let your body settle, as if you are a leaf gently coming to rest on the surface of a still pond. Feel the weight of your being held by the earth, by the chair, by the bed beneath you. There is nowhere you need to be in this moment, nothing you need to do. The only task, the only gentle invitation, is to be here. To listen not just with your ears, but with the quiet, spacious awareness behind them. For so long, you have been listening to the world. To its demands, its opinions, its endless stream of noise. You have built a self from its reflections, from what it praised in you and what it criticized. And somewhere along the way, the calm, clear voice within you, your own true north, became a whisper, then a silence you learned to fear. We fill that silence with distraction, with scrolling, with chatter, with anything that tells us we exist. But tonight, we do something different. Tonight, we turn down the volume of the world, not to escape it, but to hear something older, wiser, and infinitely more peaceful. We listen for the sound of your own soul. This journey draws from the ancient, gentle wisdom of Buddhism. Not as a dogma, but as a map. A map that does not lead to a distant treasure, but directly back to the treasure that has always been buried in the field of your own heart. The Buddha's great discovery was not a complex theology, but a simple, profound truth. Suffering ends when we stop clinging to what is always changing, and discover what never does. Our first step on this path begins with the most overlooked, the most constant miracle of your existence, your breath. Think of your mind as a vast, ancient library. Every thought, every memory, every worry is a book. For years, you have been frantically reading, one book after another, believing you must finish them all to understand the story of your life. You race through aisles, pulling volumes off the shelves, accumulating more stories than you can ever hold. It is exhausting. The teachings of Buddhism invite you to do something radically simple. They invite you to stop reading. To gently close the book in your hands. And to become aware, instead, of the silent, spacious library itself. The quiet floor, the still air, the soft light. Your breath is the key to this shift. It is the doorway out of the story and into the space that holds all stories. I remember a time when I had forgotten this doorway entirely. I was living in a small, cluttered apartment in a city that never slept. My mind mirrored the chaos outside, a relentless traffic jam of plans, anxieties, and unresolved conversations. One evening, a power outage plunged my building and the entire block into darkness. The constant hum of refrigerators, air conditioners, and electronics ceased. The familiar glow of screens vanished. For a moment, there was a panic, a fumbling for candles. But then, as I sat in the flickering light, something else happened. In the absence of all that noise, I became aware of a sound I had not truly heard in years, my own breathing. The soft, rhythmic sigh of air entering and leaving my body. In that dark, quiet room, my breath was not just a biological function, it was a companion. It was a lifeline thrown from the deep, calm ocean of my being to the frantic splashing of my thoughts. I followed that lifeline, breath by breath, and for the first time in a long time, I arrived. I was not in the story of my worries. I was in the room. I was here. That darkness was not an inconvenience, it was a gift that showed me the light I carried within. This is the practice. Your breath is the anchor that holds you steady in every storm of thought and emotion. It is always in the present tense. Your mind can travel to yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears, but your breath cannot. It exists only now, in this rising and falling moment. To focus on it is to train your awareness to come home. It is the foundational practice in Buddhism because it requires nothing but your own presence. You don't need special tools or a perfect setting. You only need the willingness to pause, and to notice the miracle that is keeping you alive. So, let's begin there, right now. Don't try to change your breath. Don't force it to be deep or slow. Simply notice it. Feel the cool stream of air as it enters your nostrils. Feel the slight expansion in your chest or belly. Notice the brief, natural pause at the top. Then feel the warm release as the breath flows out, carrying a little tension with it. Your mind will wander. It will open a book and start reading an old story. That's okay. That's what minds do. When you notice it has wandered, simply, without any judgment, as if you were guiding a sleeping child's hand back to their side, guide your attention back to the sensation of the breath. This act of noticing and returning is not a failure. It is the entire practice. It is the repetition of coming home. If this sense of coming home, of finding an anchor within the storm, resonates with you, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. Think of it as quietly leaving a candle lit at this door, a way to easily return to this space of guided remembrance whenever you need it. It is a simple gesture of kindness to your future self. From this anchored place of the breath, we can begin to look at the contents of our library with new eyes. We often find that many of the heaviest books, the ones that cause the most suffering, are stories of resistance. They are tales where we argue fiercely with reality. We wish a past event had unfolded differently. We resent a present circumstance. We dread a future possibility. This argument is a war we can never win, for reality is what it is. The Buddha taught a profound middle way between passive resignation and frantic struggle. It is the wisdom of discerning what can be changed and what must be accepted. Imagine you are a sailor on a vast ocean. You can learn to read the stars, to mend your sails, to steer with skill. These are your actions, within your control. But you cannot command the wind. You cannot stop the storm from gathering on the horizon. To shake your fist at the wind is madness. It drains your energy and fills you with bitterness. Wisdom lies in feeling the shift in the air, in adjusting your sails, in battening down the hatches, and in riding the storm with as much grace as you can muster. You accept the wind. You work with it. You do not waste your spirit demanding it be something it is not. I learned this not from sailing, but from a potter's wheel. I was trying desperately to center a lump of clay. My teacher had made it look effortless, a few gentle presses and the clay spun, a perfect, obedient pillar. My clay wobbled, listed to one side, and collapsed. I grew frustrated, pressing harder, my hands tense. The more I fought the clay's natural inconsistencies, the more it resisted. My teacher placed a hand on my shoulder. "You cannot force it to be centered," she said softly. "You must first accept exactly where it is. Feel its wobble. Let your hands acknowledge its current shape, without judgment. Only from that true acceptance can you guide it toward center. You work from what is, not from what you wish it to be." That was a revelation. Acceptance is the first, honest touch. It is saying, this is the situation. This is the feeling. This is the reality of this moment. It is not approval. It is not giving up. It is the essential ground of clarity from which intelligent, compassionate action can spring. If the clay is off-center, you accept that truth, and then your skilled hands know how to gently correct. If the clay is beyond saving, you accept that, too, and begin again with a new lump. The suffering is in the frantic fighting, in the demand that the wobbly clay be already perfect. Peace is in the honest touch, the clear seeing, and the responsive action that follows. In your own life, when you find yourself in a storm of resistance, pause. Feel your anchor, your breath. Then, with that clarity, ask the two most powerful questions: what in this situation is truly within my control, and what is not? For what is within your control, your next action, your words, your attitude, direct your energy there, with focus and kindness. For what is not within your control, the past, the actions of others, the unfolding of certain events. Practice the conscious, gentle release of the struggle. Whisper to yourself, "This is the wind. I will adjust my sails." This is not weakness. It is the profound strength that comes from no longer trying to do the impossible. It is the beginning of true peace. Let us continue from that place of acceptance, from the honest touch with what is. When we stop fighting the wind, we can finally look clearly at the ship we are sailing. We often find it is overloaded, carrying cargo we picked up long ago and have forgotten why we ever wanted it. Our lives, our minds, become crowded. This crowding is a quiet thief of peace. The wisdom we explore now is the ancient, countercultural art of simplification. In a world that screams more, Buddhism whispers a life-changing truth: clarity is found not in addition, but in subtraction. Imagine your inner world as a pristine, sun-dappled forest glade. This is your natural state. Peaceful, clear, alive with gentle sounds. Every obligation you take on out of guilt, every possession you maintain out of habit, every worry you replay about things you cannot change, every toxic connection you tolerate, these are not just thoughts. They are objects. A rusty can tossed into the glade. A piece of plastic tangled in the ferns. A loud, grating machine left running in the quiet. We do not notice the clutter accumulating because we are so busy acquiring more. We think the answer to the mess is to build a bigger glade, to manage the clutter better. But the true solution is to stop bringing things in that do not belong, and to courageously remove what is already there. This is not about austerity or denying yourself joy. It is about discerning the difference between what is nourishment for your spirit and what is merely noise. It is about creating sacred space inside yourself. I once knew a man who lived in a single room at the edge of a quiet village. His room contained a mat for sleeping, a small table, a single cup, and a window that looked out on a bamboo grove. Visitors, used to the comfort of their own full homes, would sometimes pity his apparent emptiness. One asked him, "Don't you get lonely? Don't you wish you had more?" The man smiled and poured his guest tea from a simple pot. "Look," he said, gesturing to the empty floor space. "This room holds everything I need. It holds the morning light in a rectangle on the floor. It holds the sound of rain on the leaves. It holds the space for my breath to be long and slow. If I filled it with things, where would the light, the sound, and the space go? The things would own the room, and I would merely be their keeper." He was not poor. He was rich in emptiness, which is the container for everything of true value, awareness, peace, and the simple experience of being alive. We can practice this in every domain of our life. Start with the physical. Look around your space. How many objects do you truly see, use, or love? How many are there as ghosts of a past self, as monuments to someday, or as quiet demands on your attention and care? To let go of an object is not to lose it. It is to gift yourself the space it occupied. It is an act of declaring, this area is now reserved for peace. Simplify your time. The cult of busyness is a powerful distraction from the inner voice. A schedule packed with back-to-back commitments is often a wall built against solitude. Guard empty time as you would guard a precious seedling. In that emptiness, your roots can grow deep. Simplify your relationships. Buddhist teachings often speak of admirable friendship. It is a relationship that nourishes your clarity, kindness, and peace. Evaluate your connections not by their quantity or history, but by their essential quality. After spending time with this person, do you feel more like yourself, or less? Do you feel replenished or drained? You have a sacred right to protect the sanctuary of your spirit. This is not selfishness, it is stewardship of the one light you are here to tend. And simplify your mind. This is the most crucial subtraction. We collect mental clutter. Old grievances, rehearsed arguments, catastrophic forecasts. See these not as truths, but as objects you are holding. You can, with the gentle awareness you practiced with the breath, choose to put them down. You do not have to host every thought that knocks at your door. As you subtract the inessential, a miraculous thing happens. You are not left with nothing. You are left with the essential. You are left with you. Not the you buried under the clutter, but the clear, conscious presence that was there all along. Your spirit, no longer muffled, can finally sing its own, authentic song. This is the amplification that comes from simplification. Now, from this clearer space, we can examine the singer more closely, the thinker, the feeler. We make a fundamental error. We believe we are the thoughts we think and the emotions we feel. A thought arises, I am not capable. And we become that thought. A wave of sadness washes over us, and we believe we are drowning in an ocean with no shore. Buddhism offers the key to liberation. You are not the content of your mind. You are the awareness that knows the content. Picture a vast, clear sky. This sky is your fundamental awareness, spacious, silent, and ever-present. Thoughts are clouds. Some are light and fluffy, some are dark and stormy. Emotions are weather patterns, a sudden cold front of fear, a warm breeze of joy, a steady rain of grief. Our habitual mistake is to believe we are the cloud, or that the stormy weather is the entirety of the sky. We say, I am angry, as if the temporary weather system and the eternal sky were the same thing. The practice is to remember, you are the sky. The clouds come and go. The weather changes. The sky remains, untouched, vast, and clear. There is a story of an old mirror in a forgotten temple hall. Over the years, it became coated in a fine, stubborn dust. People would look into it and see only a murky, distorted image. They would sigh, what a dull, flawed mirror, and walk away. One day, a novice was assigned to clean the hall. She came to the mirror with a soft cloth. As she wiped, a patch of brilliant, perfect reflectiveness appeared. She kept cleaning, section by section. She was not creating the reflectiveness, she was removing what obscured it. When she finished, the mirror showed the entire hall with crystal clarity, including her own awestruck face. The mirror's true nature was always there, luminous, clear, and capable of reflecting everything without being stained by it. Our practice is like this. We are not creating peace or awareness. We are gently wiping away the dust of identification, the dust that makes us believe we are the murky, distorted image. When you feel a strong emotion, practice this. Instead of saying, "I am angry," try, "Anger is present." Feel its heat, notice where it sits in the body, observe the thoughts it brings. But do not fuse with it. You are the sky, aware of the storm cloud. You are the mirror, aware of the angry reflection. This creates a space, a breath of freedom between the feeling and the one who feels it. In that space, you have a choice. You are no longer a puppet jerked by the strings of reaction. You become the conscious author of your response. This is the path of the witness. It is the most empowering shift you will ever make. It does not suppress emotion, it liberates you from its tyranny. You can allow sadness to be present without becoming its victim. You can see fear arise without letting it dictate your actions. You are no longer lost in the movie on the screen, you have remembered you are the awareness in the theater, watching it all unfold. From this place of quiet strength, everything changes. From the spaciousness of the witness, we can look with clear eyes at one of the most persistent and misunderstood visitors to our inner sky, pain. Our culture teaches us to see pain as a flaw, a malfunction in the system of a happy life. We are given 1,000 ways to outrun it, numb it, or fix it as quickly as possible. We see it as an enemy to be defeated. But the profound perspective offered by Buddhism is different. It invites us to see pain not as an enemy, but as a sacred messenger. It is not here to destroy you. It is here to get your attention, to deliver a truth you have been too busy or too afraid to hear. Imagine you are living in a house. For years, you've avoided one room in the basement. The door is locked, you tell yourself it's just storage, nothing important. But a faint, troubling smell occasionally seeps from under the door. You respond by spraying air freshener in the hallway, turning up the music, hanging a picture over the doorframe. You do everything to ignore the sealed room. Pain is the moment the door breaks open. The smell floods the house. It is overwhelming, undeniable. Your first instinct is to run outside, to call someone to seal it up again, to find a stronger fragrance. But the wise response, the courageous one, is to put on a gentle light, to walk down the stairs, and to see what is actually in the room. It may be something that needs to be cleared, healed, or finally acknowledged. The pain was not the problem. The pain was the alarm, telling you that an ignored truth could no longer be contained. I learned this lesson not from a philosophy, but from an old, gnarled apple tree in an abandoned orchard. I used to walk past it, thinking it was dying. Its trunk was split and blackened from what must have been a lightning strike years before. Its branches were twisted. One spring, I was surprised to see it was covered in blossoms. That fall, it bore fruit. Small, misshapen apples, but the sweetest I had ever tasted. The farmer who owned the land later told me the story. The lightning strike had nearly killed it, but the searing pain of that wound had done something extraordinary. It had created a deep, hollow crevice in the trunk. That hollow became a home for bees, which pollinated its flowers. The scarred wood had hardened, making the tree more resilient to storms. The very event that seemed to spell its end had forced it to become a unique ecosystem, and in doing so, had given its fruit an unparalleled depth of flavor. The wound was not its end, it was the source of its distinctive gift. Your emotional and psychological pain operates in the same way. Heartbreak is a lightning strike that seems to split you open. But in that hollow, that raw openness, you discover your true capacity to love, and you make space for new connections you could not have imagined before. Failure is a scarring that feels like death. But it hardens your resolve in the right places and forces you to find new, more authentic ways to grow. Loneliness is a bitter cold that seems to wither you. But it strips away the leaves of superficial connection, allowing you to see the stark, beautiful architecture of your own soul for the first time. The shift is in the question you ask. When pain arrives, instead of screaming, "Why is this happening to me?" try whispering, "What is this trying to show me? What in me needs to be seen, loved, or released that I have been ignoring?" This turns pain from a persecutor into a guide. You are not a victim of the lightning. You are the tree, learning how to turn the scar into a home for bees. The most peaceful people you will ever meet are not those with untroubled lives. They are the ones who have learned to sit with their pain, to listen to its message, and to allow it to transform them. They have let the fire burn away what was false, and from the ashes, they have risen, not harder, but more tender, not bitter, but more compassionate, not closed, but more authentically open than ever before. Your pain carries the blueprint for your next, truer form. The key is to stop running and start listening. This process of listening often reveals a specific, deep-rooted cause of suffering, our attachments. Our white-knuckled grip on how we believe things should be. We attach to outcomes, to people, to our own self-image. We cling to the sand so tightly it all slips through our fingers. The Buddha's core teaching on the end of suffering points directly to this. Suffering arises from attachment. Peace arises from letting go. Think of your life as a river. You are sitting in a boat on that river, holding a heavy, ornate chest. Inside the chest are your expectations, how your career should progress, how your relationships should make you feel, how your body should look, how others should treat you. The chest is beautiful, but it is immensely heavy. It makes your boat sit low in the water, sluggish and hard to steer. The river has its own current, it bends, it has rapids, it has calm stretches. Your attachment is your refusal to put the chest down. You cling to it, believing that your safety and identity are inside it. When the river takes a turn you didn't expect, you panic and cling tighter. When you hit rapids, the heavy chest threatens to capsize you. You suffer, blaming the river for being a river. Letting go is the act of opening the chest and gently tipping its contents into the water. You watch your expectations, your demands, your shoulds float away. It feels terrifying at first, a feeling of emptiness, of being unprotected. But instantly, your boat rises. It becomes buoyant, agile. You can navigate the river's turns with ease. You can flow with the current, using your oars not to fight the water, but to steer gracefully within it. You haven't lost anything essential. You've lost only a burden. You are now free to experience the river itself, the sunlight on the water, the smell of the air, the sound of the current. Without the exhausting struggle of carrying a weight that was never meant for the journey. I witnessed a perfect example of this non-attachment with a master calligrapher. I watched him prepare for a single character on a huge scroll. The meditation, the grinding of the ink, was a ritual that took over an hour. Then, he lifted the brush. There was no hesitation, but there was also no strain. The brush moved in a fluid, fearless arc across the paper. It was breathtaking. Afterward, I asked him, "Weren't you afraid of making a mistake on such a large, expensive piece?" He looked genuinely surprised. "The mistake is in the fear," he said. "If I am attached to the paper being perfect, my hand will be tight. The line will be dead. My task is to be completely one with the movement of the brush. The result is the river's business. If the character is bold, good. If it is subtle, good. If the ink splatters, that, too, becomes part of the character. To be attached to the outcome is to miss the life of the act itself. This is the freedom of non-attachment. It is engagement without imprisonment. Love without possession. Effort without obsession over the result. It is doing your part with full heart and mind, and then releasing your grip on how the universe must respond. You pour the tea, but you do not control the drinker's experience. You plant the seed, but you do not command the shape of the tree. So tonight, identify one small attachment. The need for a particular result from a conversation tomorrow. The expectation that your day will unfold in a certain, smooth order. Feel the weight of that chest in your boat. And then, in the safety of your own mind, practice opening the lid. Visualize tipping that specific expectation into the flowing river of life. You are not giving up care or intention. You are giving up the burden of demand. Feel the lightness that follows. Your boat rises. You are free to meet whatever comes with grace, curiosity, and an open hand. As we learn to sit with pain and release our attachments, we often encounter a deep, familiar shadow. It is the version of ourselves that was formed in response to old storms. This is not your true self, but a collection of adaptations, a suit of armor you forged long ago for a battle that may be over. Buddhism holds a liberating view: there is no permanent, fixed self. The you believe you are is a story, a compilation of habits, memories, and reactions. And just as it was built, it can be gently dismantled and rebuilt with conscious choice. To heal, you must be willing to let go of the old version of you, the one built for survival, and step into a version built for peace. Imagine you are a sculptor, but you have been sculpting in the dark for years. By touch alone, you have shaped a figure from the clay of your experiences. The praise, the criticism, the failures, the fears. You have never seen it in the light. You believe this rough, misshapen form is you. It feels solid, real, permanent. Waking up is like a light turning on in the studio. For the first time, you see the sculpture clearly. You see where the clay is thick with resentment, where it is pinched with anxiety, where a whole section was formed by someone else's opinion. The light of awareness reveals, this is not a fixed monument. This is malleable clay. You have the tools. You can soften the hardened parts with the water of compassion. You can gently smooth the jagged edges. You can even decide to collapse the whole form and begin again with the essential, pure material at its core. You are not the current sculpture. You are the sculptor and the clay. There is a tale of a village built on the side of a misty mountain. For generations, the people navigated by a series of bells hung along the paths. If you wanted to go to the market, you followed the sound of the brass bell. To the temple, the silver bell. To the well, the iron bell. One season, a great wind swept through, tangling all the bells. Their sounds became a confusing jumble. The villagers were lost and afraid. They argued over which bell was which. An old hermit who lived above the village came down and said, "The bells are not your destination. They are just noise. Your feet know the path. Feel the earth beneath them. Listen beneath the bells." One by one, people stopped straining to hear the familiar tones. They felt the worn smoothness of the stone path under their sandals. They noticed the slant of the mountain, the smell of the pine trees near the temple, the cool dampness in the air near the well. They discovered they never needed the bells at all. The bells were a story they had agreed upon. The truth was in the direct experience of the walk itself. We are like those villagers. We follow the bells of our identity. I am an anxious person, I am not good with people, I always fail. These are just tangled bells, old noises. Your direct experience in this moment, the feeling of your breath, the awareness in your heart, that is the path beneath your feet. You can let the old story of who you are fall silent. You can learn to walk by the feel of the earth, not the sound of the bell. This letting go is an act of profound compassion for your past self. That version of you did the best it could with the light it had. It built armor to protect a tender heart. It created strategies to navigate a confusing world. You do not need to hate it or shame it. You can thank it for its service. And then, you can say, I am safe now. I have new light. I can choose a new way. You start, moment by moment, to act as the person you wish to become, not the person you habitually have been. You speak to yourself with kindness. You choose curiosity over criticism. You stand a little taller, not from arrogance, but from a remembered dignity. Letting go of the old self is not becoming someone else. It is returning to who you were before the world told you who you had to be. This journey of return is often walked in solitude. Our next principle is about reframing one of our greatest fears, being alone. We confuse solitude with loneliness, and in our panic to avoid it, we lose ourselves in the crowd. Buddhism honors solitude as sacred ground, the fertile soil where the seed of your true self can finally sprout without being shaded by the needs and opinions of others. Picture a pond whose surface is constantly disturbed by thrown pebbles, swimming fish, and the wind. The water is murky, stirred up. You cannot see the bottom, nor can you see a clear reflection. This is life lived constantly in relationship and reaction. Solitude is when all movement ceases. The pebbles stop, the fish settle, the wind dies down. Gradually, the silt settles to the bottom. The water becomes still, clear, and glassy. For the first time, you can see the beautiful, sandy bottom, the smooth stones, and your own face reflected back with perfect clarity. The stillness was not emptiness. It was the condition for seeing truth. I spent a period of my early life in a bustling communal house, always surrounded by people, conversation, and activity. I was never physically alone, yet I felt a deep, unnameable loneliness. One winter, circumstances led me to a small, quiet cabin for a month. The first few days were agony. The silence was deafening. I itched for distraction, for a voice, for any sound to prove I existed. But as I persisted, something shifted. The compulsive need to perform, to entertain, to be a certain person, began to fall away like old leaves. In that quiet, I began to hear my own thoughts. Not the rehearsed conversations, but the quiet, wondering ones. I remembered hobbies I loved that others found boring. I felt rhythms in my body and moods that were entirely my own. I discovered I was not empty, I had just been unattended. By the end of that month, I did not feel lonely. I felt introduced to a fascinating, complex, and ultimately friendly person, myself. That solitude was not a punishment. It was the greatest gift I had ever been given, the foundation for every genuine connection I would later make. The Buddha's own awakening did not happen in a crowded forum. It happened under a tree, in deep, radical solitude. He walked away from every label, prince, husband, father, ascetic, to sit alone with the great question of suffering. In that aloneness, stripped of all roles, he found the answer that was beyond all roles. Your solitude is your Bodhi tree. It is where you shed the costumes and meet the bare, beautiful essence of your being. Walking alone does not mean you forsake connection. It means you build your foundation so strong that when you do connect with others, you come from a place of fullness, not lack. You relate from wholeness, not from a hunger that asks others to complete you. You can enjoy company, but you no longer fear its absence. When you can walk your path without applause, when you can sit in silence and feel completely at home, you have discovered an inner peace that no external circumstance can ever take away. If you are in a season of quiet, if you feel misunderstood or alone, know this: you are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. You are being given the sacred space to build your foundation. From this foundation of self-knowledge and inner peace, we can look at how we move through our days. Modern life prizes the ability to split our attention, to do 5 things at once. But this fractures our presence and drains our spirit. Buddhism advocates for the opposite: mindfulness, the practice of wholehearted presence in a single task. Think of your attention as a beam of light. In multitasking, you take that powerful, focused beam and shatter it into a dozen weak, scattered fragments. Each fragment provides barely enough light to see, leaving most of your experience in shadow. You miss the texture, the depth, the nuance. Mindfulness is focusing that entire beam on one thing. When you eat, the light is fully on the taste, the smell, the sensation of nourishment. When you listen, the light is fully on the speaker's words, their tone, the meaning behind them. What was dim and shadowy becomes vivid, rich, and alive. There is an old story of a musician who came to play for a famous master. The musician played a complex, beautiful piece with great technical skill. When he finished, he looked to the master for praise. The master was silent for a long time. Then he said, "Your fingers know the notes, but your mind was elsewhere. I heard you thinking about the next movement, worrying about a difficult passage, hoping for my approval. Play me one note." Puzzled, the musician placed his finger on a single string and plucked it. Hum. The note resonated through the quiet room. "Again," said the master. He plucked it again. Again. As the musician focused on just that one note, over and over, something happened. He began to hear the fullness of it, the initial strike, the blooming resonance, the harmonics whispering inside the main tone, the slow, graceful fade into silence. He heard lifetimes in that single note. The master nodded. To be present with one note is greater than to be absent from 1,000 songs. This is the power of mindfulness. It is not about what you are doing, but how you are being while you do it. Washing a dish can be a meditation on the warmth of the water and the smoothness of the porcelain. Walking can be a sacred exploration of balance, gravity, and connection to the earth. Even waiting in line can become an opportunity to feel your breath and observe the world with gentle curiosity. When you stop dividing your attention, you stop dividing your life. You gather yourself into one point, here and now, and in that gathering, you find a richness that multitasking can never provide. You come back to life itself. As we cultivate this wholehearted presence, we inevitably encounter the constant stream of thoughts that flows through our mindful awareness. These thoughts are not innocent bystanders. They are architects. They shape our reality from the inside out. The Buddha taught that, with our thoughts, we make the world. This is not a metaphor in the abstract sense, it is a practical, observable truth of human psychology. A mind habitually filled with thoughts of lack creates a life that feels scarce. A mind rehearsing resentment colors every interaction with a tinge of bitterness. Our next principle is about taking back this creative power. To transform your life, you must first break the cycle of habitual thought. Imagine your mind is a hillside of soft, fresh earth after a rain. Every thought is a trickle of water. The first time a worried thought runs down the hill, what if I fail? It leaves the faintest of impressions. If you follow that thought, feeding it with attention and fear, it is like sending more water down that same channel. The trickle becomes a stream, carving the impression deeper. Over days, months, years of sending the same mental water down the same path, you carve a deep, undeniable gully. Now, whenever it rains, whenever a trigger occurs, all water automatically, forcefully, rushes down that gully. You feel you have no choice. That is the groove of a mental habit. The good news is this: you are both the water and the gardener. You can, with patient awareness, choose to divert the flow. You can let the water of your attention soak into a new area of the hillside, beginning to carve a new, healthier path. This is the neuroplasticity of the spirit, the mind's ability to change itself. I saw this process in a physical form with a friend who had a narrow, muddy path worn across her beautiful lawn from her back door to the shed. It was an eyesore, but it was the most direct route. She decided she wanted a beautiful stone path in a gentle curve. She didn't just lay the stones over the mud. First, she laid her new stones on the fresh grass along the graceful curve she envisioned. For weeks, it looked silly, stones on the grass, while the muddy gully remained the obvious, easy path. But she committed. Every time she needed to go to the shed, she consciously, even awkwardly, stepped onto the new stones. At first, she had to remind herself constantly. She'd find herself halfway down the old mud path, stop, and backtrack to the stones. But slowly, the grass under the stones was worn away, and a new, firm path emerged. The old mud path, unused, began to grow over with clover and grass. Within a season, the elegant stone path was the natural, effortless route. The old gully was just a faint memory in the turf. Your thought patterns are exactly like this. You must consciously, patiently, walk the new path, the new thought, even when the old, muddy groove feels more direct and familiar. The practice begins with catching the thought. You must become a silent watcher of your own mind's weather. When an old, limiting thought arises, I can't handle this, or nothing ever works out for me, you don't have to believe it. You can simply notice it. You can say inwardly, there is the, I can't handle this story. Just that act of naming it creates a sliver of space between you and the thought. In that space, you have a choice. You can then gently challenge it. Is this absolutely true? Is this thought helping me? Almost always, the answer is no. It is not a truth, it is an old, familiar recording. Then, you consciously choose a new path. You lay down a new stone. You redirect the water. Instead of, I can't handle this, you might think, this is challenging, and I am resourceful. Instead of, nothing works out, you might offer, this didn't work out as I hoped, and I am learning. This is not naive positive thinking. It is conscious, strategic gardening of your inner landscape. You are selecting the seeds you wish to water. With enough repetition, the new thought becomes the natural pathway. The old groove, deprived of attention, begins to fade. Your reality, which is built upon your deepest beliefs, begins to shift accordingly. This mindful cultivation leads us directly to one of the most important gardens we tend, the garden of our relationship with ourselves. We can be incredibly compassionate toward others, yet ruthlessly critical of ourselves. We hold ourselves to impossible standards and speak to ourselves in a tone we would never use with a loved one. Buddhism extends its teaching on compassion inward, without exception. True healing is impossible without self-compassion. It is the fertile soil in which all other growth takes root. Imagine you have a young, tender plant. This is your growing spirit. Every time you make a mistake or fall short, you have two choices. You can pour a bucket of harsh, critical words onto this plant. You're so stupid. You always mess up. Why can't you get it right? Or, you can gently water it with kindness. It's okay. You're learning. This is hard, and you're trying. The first method will cause the plant to wilt, its leaves to brown, its growth to stunt. It will become fearful, hesitant to reach for the sun. The second method allows the plant to absorb the nourishment, to stand upright after being bent, to grow stronger and more resilient from the very experience that challenged it. You are that plant, and you are also the gardener with the watering can. Every inner dialogue is a choice of which can to use. I remember a period where I was trying to master a complex new skill. My progress was slow and punctuated by frequent, clumsy errors. My inner critic was a relentless drill sergeant. One evening, after a particularly frustrating session, I was berating myself. My young niece was visiting, learning to tie her shoes at the kitchen table. Her tongue was between her teeth in concentration. She looped one lace, tried to pull the other through, and the whole thing fell apart. She let out a little sigh of frustration. I watched my sister walk over. She didn't say, "That's terrible. You're so bad at this. Your sister could tie her shoes at age 4. She knelt down, put a hand on her back and said, almost. That first loop was perfect. That's the tricky part. Let's try again, a little slower. I'm right here." The kindness in her voice was a physical warmth in the room. In that moment, I saw myself, the frustrated child trying to tie the loops of a new life. And I heard the voice I had been using, cold and sharp. I began to cry, not from frustration, but from the realization that I deserved the same gentle coaching my sister offered. From that day forward, I began to practice speaking to myself as I would to that small, learning child. The skill eventually came, but more importantly, the process became one of growth instead of self-punishment. Self-compassion is not self-pity or making excuses. It is the honest acknowledgement that you are human, that the path is difficult, and that you are doing your sincere best with the awareness you have at this moment. It is placing a hand on your own heart when you are in pain and saying the words you most need to hear. This is hard. I'm here with you. You are not alone. This simple act changes the entire chemistry of your being. It moves you from a state of threat and isolation to a state of safety and connection with yourself. When you stop being your own enemy, you free up an enormous amount of energy that was spent on that inner civil war. That energy then becomes available for healing, for creativity, for genuine connection with others. The path forward is not paved with the shards of your broken self-esteem, but with the steady stones of your own unwavering kindness. This practice of inner kindness allows us to engage with the outer world from a place of wholeness, not neediness. It brings us to a principle that balances our entire approach to life, the dynamic balance between accepting what is and changing what we can. We touched on this earlier, but from this place of self-compassion, its depth becomes clear. This is the wisdom that prevents acceptance from becoming passivity and action from becoming frantic struggle. Picture yourself as a sailor on the ocean of your life. Acceptance is your ability to accurately read the conditions. You look at the wind, the waves, the sky. You say, the wind is from the east, strong. The waves are high. A storm is gathering on the horizon. This is not complaining. This is not wishing for a calm sunset cruise. This is clear, neutral assessment. It is making peace with the reality of your current coordinates. From that clear assessment, you then decide on your skillful action. You cannot change the wind or the storm. Those are your what is. But you can change your sails. You can adjust your course. You can batten down the hatches. You can steer with the wind, not against it. This is your what can be changed. The suffering sailor is the one who screams at the wind, who tries to command the waves to be still, who exhausts himself fighting the conditions. The peaceful sailor is the one who sees clearly, respects the power of the sea, and uses his skill to navigate within it. In your own life, this plays out constantly. You receive difficult news. Acceptance is feeling the shock, the sadness, the fear, letting those waves wash over you without denial. It is saying, this is the current reality. Then, from that clear, grounded place, you ask, what is within my power to do next? Maybe it's to make a phone call, to research options, to simply breathe and be kind to yourself for an hour. The action is focused, purposeful, and free of the frantic energy that comes from refusing to accept the initial truth. You are no longer a victim of the storm. You are a capable navigator within it. This balance is the essence of resilience and peace. It allows you to meet life not with brittle resistance, but with a flexible, compassionate strength. This balance between acceptance and action requires a profound source of inner strength. That strength is not found in force, but in a quality we often misunderstand, gentleness. We have been taught that to be strong is to be hard, immovable, like a mountain that withstands the storm. But there is another, more resilient kind of strength. Consider the bamboo grove. In a great gale, the mighty oak may crack and splinter, its rigid resistance its downfall. The bamboo bends. It yields to the wind, its hollow stalks whistling as the force moves through it. When the storm passes, the bamboo springs back, unharmed, having offered no brittle resistance. Buddhism teaches that our deepest strength is not oak-like rigidity, but bamboo-like resilience, the strength to bend without breaking, to yield without surrendering our core. This gentle resilience is born from the space we've been cultivating, the space of the witness, the compassion of the gardener, the clarity of the sailor. It allows us to meet difficulty not as a declaration of war, but as an opportunity to practice this flexible, yielding strength. There is a story of an old well in a drought-stricken village. The villagers, in their desperation, would lower their buckets with frantic, jerking force, often banging them against the stone sides, coming up with more cracks than water. A traveler came and saw their struggle. He took the bucket, lowered it on its rope slowly, with a gentle, patient hand. He let it kiss the surface of the deep water far below, then tipped it gracefully. He drew it up, hand over hand, with a steady, rhythmic pull. The bucket came up full, and not a drop was spilled. "The water does not respond to force," he said. "It responds to respectful touch. Your fear and hurry only scare the water away. Our own inner wisdom, our peace, is like that deep well. We cannot club it into submission. We must approach it with a gentle, patient, and respectful touch." I learned about this yielding strength from watching a master of Aikido, the martial art often called the way of harmonious spirit. He was not a large man, but he could effortlessly redirect the charging force of a much larger opponent. He never met force with force. He would step slightly to the side, blend with the energy of the attack, and guide it past him, using the opponent's own momentum to bring them to a gentle, controlled finish on the mat. After a demonstration, he said, "The principle is not to defeat the other, but to reconcile the conflict. If you meet anger with anger, you have two forces crashing, both break. If you meet anger with awareness and space, you can transform the crash into a circle. You become the center around which the chaos can safely orbit and settle." This is the application of gentle resilience in daily life. When met with someone's harsh words or life's sudden pressure, our habit is to tense, to prepare for a crash. The practice is to create an inner circle of space, a breath, and let the force move through that space without crashing into the core of who we are. We respond from the center, not from the reactive edge. This principle guides us to reframe one of life's most common experiences, waiting. We see waiting as empty time, a frustrating gap between where we are and where we want to be. We drum our fingers, refresh screens, and chafe against the delay. But in the Buddhist view, waiting is not empty. It is pregnant. It is a sacred incubation period. A seed in the dark earth is not doing nothing. It is gathering itself, breaking down its old form, and preparing its explosive reach toward the sun. The cocoon is not a prison for the caterpillar, it is the necessary, messy, transformative process of becoming a butterfly. To rush it is to destroy it. I witnessed this in a powerful way in a high mountain meadow. A late spring snow had fallen, burying the first green shoots. I thought the flowers were doomed, that the season would be lost. But a park ranger explained it to me. "That snow isn't killing them," he said. "It's insulating them. The ground is still cold at night. The snow is a blanket, holding in the earth's slight warmth and providing slow, steady water as it melts. This weight under the snow makes the roots grow deeper and stronger. When the melt finally comes, these flowers will burst up healthier and more vibrant than if spring had come easy and early. I was humbled. The weight wasn't a setback, it was part of the growth algorithm. My own periods of feeling stuck, of feeling buried under a cold blanket of uncertainty, suddenly looked different. What if they weren't punishments, but periods of essential, deep-rooted preparation? What if the universe was insulating me, forcing my roots to dig deeper for a stability that would be needed later? This reframe transforms waiting from agony into a practice of trust. You are in the cocoon. You are under the insulating snow. Your work is not to claw your way out prematurely, but to rest into the process, to gather your resources, to grow roots in the dark. The transformation is happening precisely on schedule, even if you cannot see it. This trust in the unfolding process connects directly to how we relate to the past. We often carry the past not as a memory, but as a present weight, a sack of stones on our back. Regret, shame, and old resentences are stones we collected long ago, but we refuse to put the sack down. We believe that carrying this weight is a form of penance, or that it proves we have learned our lesson. But true learning is not in the carrying of the stone, it is in the understanding that allowed you to drop it. Buddhism encourages a practice of sacred closure, not necessarily reconciliation with others, but a conscious, internal completion with past events. Visualize your life as a book. Some chapters are beautiful, some are tragic, some are confusing. The practice of clinging to the past is like refusing to turn the page of a painful chapter. You read it over and over, underlining the hurt, living in its emotional landscape. But the story cannot progress. Sacred closure is the conscious, gentle act of turning the page. It is not ripping the chapter out, that would deny your history. It is not pretending it was happy, that would be a lie. It is simply acknowledging, this chapter is complete. Its events are recorded. Its lessons are absorbed. I am now here, at the blank space between chapters. I allow myself to write the next one from who I am now, not from who I was then. You close the book on that era for the night. You put it on the shelf. It is part of your library, but you are no longer forced to sleep inside its pages. I was taught this through a simple ritual by a teacher who had survived great loss. He had a small, smooth stone for a past sorrow he could not change. Each morning for a year, he would walk to a specific spot in his garden, hold the stone, feel the weight and the memory, and then place it gently in a ceramic bowl. He would leave it there for the day. At night, he would retrieve it. I am not forgetting, he told me. I am practicing setting it down. In the morning, I acknowledge it. I pick it up. But during the day, I let the garden hold it. I let the world hold it for a while, so I can be free to live in the present. Over time, he found he would sometimes forget to retrieve the stone at night. Then, he forgot to place it in the morning. The ritual had done its work. The memory remained, but the weight had been integrated, it no longer needed to be carried in his hand. You can do this internally. Visualize placing that old stone, that regret, that resentment, in a bowl held by the earth, by God, by the universe. Say, for now, I let you be held by something larger than myself. Feel the lightness in your hand. That lightness is your present moment life, returned to you. From this place of unburdened presence, we can look at a final, beautiful principle, the cultivation of joyful appreciation for the ordinary. We are conditioned to seek peak experiences, grand achievements, and dramatic moments as the source of happiness. We overlook the substrate of our lives, the warm mug in our hands, the functioning of our limbs, the sky outside the window, because it is always there. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness is not only for managing pain, it is the tool for unlocking the profound joy inherent in simply being alive. Happiness is not a distant peak to be climbed. It is the ground beneath your feet, if you would only feel it. Think of your senses as doors. Most of the time, these doors are just cracked open, enough to get functional information. That's a chair to sit in, that's food to eat, that's a person talking. We move through a dim, utilitarian version of reality. Joyful appreciation is the act of throwing these doors wide open. When you drink water, don't just swallow. Feel the coolness in your mouth, the sensation of thirst being quenched, the miracle of a liquid becoming part of your body. When you see a tree, don't just register, tree. See the fractal pattern of the branches against the sky, the play of light and shadow on the leaves, the sheer, silent fact of its aliveness. This is not adding beauty to the world. It is removing the blindness that prevented you from seeing the beauty that was always there. I was reminded of this by a man who regained his sight after 50 years of blindness. In an interview, they asked him what was most astonishing. They expected him to talk about sunsets or his loved ones' faces. He said, "The shadows." He was mesmerized by the simple, everyday phenomenon of a shadow cast by a fence post, by the way it moved and changed shape with the sun. "I had no idea the world was so full of these silent, shifting shapes," he said. "People walk right through them." His testimony woke me up. I had been walking right through the shadows, through 1,000 daily miracles of perception, sensation, and simple existence. My blindness was not physical, but attentional. The practice of joyful appreciation is the practice of regaining your sight, every single day. It is choosing, in this moment, to see the shadow, to feel the breath, to hear the hum of the quiet room. In that granular attention, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and joy becomes a constant, quiet companion, not a rare visitor. This appreciative gaze naturally extends beyond yourself, completing the circle of our journey, but that is a discovery for our final part. This appreciative gaze, this waking up to the ordinary, does not end with our own senses. It naturally, effortlessly, begins to extend outward. When you are no longer starving for validation or numb with self-concern, you have space to truly see the other. You notice the weariness in the cashier's eyes, not as an inconvenience, but as a human story. You hear the unspoken worry in a friend's voice. This is the foundation of compassion in action, not as a lofty ideal, but as the organic response of an open heart. Buddhism teaches that wisdom and compassion are the two wings of a bird, one cannot fly without the other. The wisdom of your own suffering, met with your own compassion, becomes the bridge to understanding the suffering of all beings. Imagine you are in a vast, dark cavern. You have spent all your energy lighting a single small candle for yourself. In its tiny glow, you can see just your own hands, your own feet. The world is a threatening, immense darkness. This is a life centered only on self. Now, imagine you use that one candle to light another. And another. Your light is not diminished. It is multiplied. The cavern begins to illuminate. You see other faces, you see the beautiful, glistening formations of the cave itself. You see you are not alone in the dark. Compassion is this lighting of another's candle from your own flame. Your own peace, your own stability, is not hoarded. It becomes a resource you can share, and in the sharing, the entire world you inhabit grows brighter. This leads us to a subtle but profound shift in how we hold our personal journey. We often walk the path of healing with a destination in mind. I will be healed when. I am happy when. I will be enough when. This turns our present life into a waiting room. The Buddhist insight is that the path itself is the destination. The walking is the arrival. The healing is not a distant finish line you cross, it is the quality of attention you bring to each step you are taking right now. The peace you seek is not at the end of the process. It is the very spirit in which you undertake the process. Think of a spiral staircase winding up a great tower. If you focus only on the top, each step is a drudgery, a means to an end. You might miss the unique view from each small, arched window you pass. But if you realize that the climbing is the journey, that the strength in your legs, the rhythm of your breath, the ever-changing perspective from each new turn is the point, then every step is complete in itself. You are not climbing to be at the top, you are climbing to experience the climb. Your transformation is not waiting for you at the summit. It is happening in the muscles that strengthen, in the breath that deepens, in the patience that grows with every revolution. You are already where you need to be. You are already becoming who you are meant to be. The work is not to arrive, but to fully inhabit the journey. This understanding brings a deep, quiet trust. It allows you to lay down the burden of impatience. You begin to see your struggles not as proof you are off course, but as the very grain of the wood you are sanding, the very resistance that shapes your strength. The moments of quiet, the steps taken alone, the painful realizations, they are not interruptions to your path. They are the path. And on this path, you are always, already, home. And so, dear listener, our spiral journey through these principles draws to a close. We have traveled from the anchor of the breath to the wisdom of acceptance, through the clarifying art of subtraction. We have met the witness within, listened to the messenger of pain, and practiced the open hand of non-attachment. We have honored solitude, chosen mindfulness, extended compassion inward, and broken the cycles of thought that bound us. We have discovered gentle resilience, found sacredness in waiting, offered our burdens to the earth, and learned to see with wonder. These are not 12 separate tasks, but 12 facets of a single, luminous truth. Peace is not a prize to be won from the world. It is a presence to be remembered within yourself. It is the nature of the clear sky, not the passing weather. You are not a project to be completed. You are a consciousness to be inhabited. A heart to be opened. A life to be lived, breath by breath, in the tender, ordinary, extraordinary now. The world's noise will continue. It will ask you to want more, do more, be more. It will try to sell you a newer, shinier version of yourself. Remember the whisper of Monk's Temple. Remember that the transformation you seek has already begun. It began the moment you chose to listen, to soften, to turn inward. It is fueled not by effort, but by surrender to what is true in this very moment. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are awakening. You are a human being, learning the delicate, brave art of being human. There is no final test, only this ongoing, gentle practice. So as you move from this sacred space of listening back into the flow of your life, carry this knowing with you. When you feel overwhelmed, return to the breath, your eternal anchor. When you feel lost, become the witness on the bank. When you feel pain, ask it for its message. Simplify. Be kind. Choose your thoughts. Appreciate the shadows. Walk your path with courage, and with a gentle heart. The most powerful version of you is not the one who never stumbles, but the one who learns the softness of the landing, and the quiet grace of getting up again. From all of us here at Monk's Temple, we wish you profound peace. Thank you for walking this path tonight. May you carry this stillness with you, always. Good night.